everyone here brings something different to the table. Had anyone here actually started a business or done something similar to this previous to getting involved with this project?
Negatory. No, there is very little business acumen. There's a desire for it, I think, with everyone, and we all wanted to create something more than the sum of its parts. So it's really honest. There's not a lot of money in it that we put in. We did it on a shoestring, and we've relied on all of the good people around it to make it, to where it is. But the skill sets in this company are quite extraordinary, I will say, and I'm very proud of that. And then the plan that we had, Revel took like 3 years from the idea to when we opened the doors. A year of planning and then 2 years of going through all of the approvals and the startup kind of phase. But we had a 72-page business plan that explained everything that we'd be doing now, 5 years, 10 years, and 15 years. And where we really zoomed in was the first 5 years of activities. And it's pretty exciting because we're not even 2 years deep, and we have knocked it out of the park in terms of achieving those goals. We are probably at year 5 in our business plan, and we're not even 2 years deep. Between starting a business and remaining cash flow positive, which is quite a lot. You hear the stories about a lot of small businesses that go under in the first 12 months. Passing that first 12 months and staying cash flow positive was critical for us. We were so proud of that. Creating the most beautiful products that we can with the best people we have. Our beers and our pizzas, they speak for themselves, and we're very proud of that. And the accolades that we're achieving with those products, it means a lot to the company and the employees that work with the company to achieve those outcomes. And man, you go anywhere and people, if you give them a wage and they create a product and then they go home, happy days. But if you embrace them as a person, you empower them to do the right thing and the best thing that they're capable of, and they produce an award-winning product, they own that, and the company owns that, and we all get behind them. And being a small business, you can celebrate that so furiously. It's awesome. And then I look at the 5-year goals, and we were talking about, where we want to be. We want to be saturated. We can't produce any more beer, and we've got all these customers. And we're at that point, and we're talking about some really exciting future plans, in year 2.
And do you think that even though, you guys don't all come from a background where you had a business previously, do you think that everyone just adding their extra skill set has helped things get to where it is?
Yeah, it's the only reason why Revel is what it is now is because everyone came together and we rallied behind the company and we rolled up our sleeves and we bit deep and we did the right thing by it. And, I can honestly say that culture is going to remain in our company from now until, forever, because if there's a problem, everyone will get behind it and we'll solve that problem and we'll pivot and we'll do what we need to do and we'll get through to the next step. And no more have we proven that in startup life than where we are now, I guess.
Mm. Yeah, I think probably one of the things that I've found starting up the business and then actually being in it and going through all the processes is that, I've spoken to a lot of people outside the realm of the brewing side of things in relation to business itself and startup life. And a common denominator usually comes up is that there's only a small group of people trying to do everything. So they're trying to do they're trying to do marketing, they're trying to do the business side of things, they're trying to do growth, they're trying to do the accounting side of things. Everyone's stretched so thin. And so I think that's probably one of our advantages is that we understood that from the start, and we really wanted to empower the people with the right skills in the company and bring the right people in with those skills to really focus on that area of the company to alleviate the stresses and everything else from other people so they can do their job properly. So it's kind of like we've got all these people in doing 100% of their kind of specific area of the job, which helps everyone else out. And I think that's a really critical thing. And why we've probably grown as well as we have. And then also roundtable discussions when any problems and issues arise, and how they can be solved very, very quickly. And like I said, we can pivot. Like Jay said, we can pivot and really kind of crunch those out, get them sorted and get them out the door. And then everyone else, they go back onto their day job. So if anyone is thinking about doing any startups in brewing or in anything else, I think there needs to be some critical analysis on your own skill set and how much time you actually had to put into that, and where your best fit is within the business. And if you focus on that, then I believe that everyone will be able to be successful. It's when people start wearing too many hats and you get diluted through the whole company, and then by the end of the day you're working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, and all this kind of stuff. And I think you slowly get burnt out, and you can't really focus, and then you don't have other people to bounce stuff off, and so you start drowning. But I think that's a really critical part of our business plan now, and probably moving forward, is to have those skill sets and those people that really kind of give advantage to other positions in the business moving forward, and especially in the growth stage as well. So definitely critical.
I think that those are all really valid points, Flex. Something to add to that is also behaviours as well. So we've had a number of people who could potentially have joined the business, but we've actually said no to them because we didn't think they were a right cultural fit for the organisation. And what we've ended up with right now is 6 owners of the business who are all aligned, all got the same sorts of personalities. I'm not afraid to speak up and call it when something's not going right, or we think we should pivot or something like that. So if you are starting up a business, I would suggest skills is very, very important, but behavioural competencies is also very, very important as well.
Definitely.
Has there been any really, really tough moment? Obviously there's been plenty of tough moments, I get it, but has there been a tough conversation that anyone's had to have with each other all the way through?
That's a really good question. There's been between the boys here and Mick and that, it's been more of an understanding of, we know each other and we know how we work, but we need to understand more about what you're going through. And it's like some of the stuff that's happened in our company during startup life has not been actually business related. It's been very personal, because what people don't talk about is the impact that this business has had on our personal lives, both mental health and also your family life with your wives and your family, your small children. And I'd say there's been some hard conversations that have happened around the peripheral with each of us, with our respective others in the family, about how to manage that sort of stuff. And I can tell you it's not been easy. And I think anyone that's been involved in small business, be it a brewery or be it a cafe or be it whatever it is, what is really not talked about is the mental health concerns that come along with being in a startup, being an entrepreneurial sort of character and making those things happen. And then being the wife or the husband or the child of someone who's doing that. There are real world issues there. And I guess, so there have been some really hard conversations. There have been some really truthful shareholder meetings where we've talked about how we were struggling and not shied away from it and actually called it. Myself being the primary one, and the team have always got behind it. If you talk to any one of our partners, they will all tell you a story too, and I think you'll get a chance to talk to them at some point soon on the Revel Brewing Show, because nothing's hidden away. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And even between friendships, I got my best friend, sitting beside me, and we have been through the thickest parts of it together. But everything's a conversation. There's never been anything really, truly hard about it. It's been like, I get it. You're stressed out. There's a lot going on. How can I help you? And if you keep that attitude, then everything gets good. It's not personal, at the end of the day, but there is a person behind what's going on, and you need to remember that.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the big things. Whenever we do have those tough conversations with each other, there's nothing negative about it. It's us purely feeling love for you and going, are you struggling? Do you need help? Do you need somebody to take some load off your shoulders? That's anyone in this business who we've seen anyone sort of just lagging behind a little bit. I think we're quick to sort of pick it up. We know each other's mannerisms. We know how we act and how we sort of react to certain situations. And you just sort of come in with a positive attitude and go, right, how do we get through this? How do we box on? How do we sort this out so that we're all back on an even keel and doing okay?
And to touch on what you were saying, Flex, about things getting diluted when there's only one or two people involved, do you guys think that that's maybe an advantage of having a few more people involved? Because rather than getting burnt out, you can actually be like, look, I just need a little bit of time aside, or I need to do something different. Do you guys collectively think that that's potentially an advantage?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it sets everyone on the right directions. It gives everyone a purpose and kind of doesn't skew them away from what they need to do for the business itself. So yeah, definitely.
And the Independent Brewing Association and the independent breweries in and around Brisbane and Australia, what I was not prepared for is how bloody awesome they all are and how close-knit that industry is. We've got a great group of people here and we've been talking about how awesome it is to be clicked together and common page. That industry, the craft brewing industry, especially the independent part of it, they all are going up the same hill as everyone else. And so when our hoses didn't stretch long enough to get from one tank to the next, we just called up Lee from White Lies, who is a direct competitor in startup life, and he's like, no worries, bro, I'll drive him down. We call up Newstead Brewing Co and go, hey Mark, can we borrow some yeast, man? We're like, we've run out, or some hops. And he's like, yeah, no worries, I've got your back. And that just keeps thumping time and time again.